Welcome back to Co-op Radio 102.7 FM CFRO. This is Monday Brown Bagger. Again, my name is Reginald Angus Argue. I'll be archiving this on my website of www.reginaldangusargue.com. That song that you just heard is so touching because of the fact is, to me, I believe that we have to protect the people, protect the children, and as a veteran, I always protect my brothers and sisters who served in other militaries because they're part of the military family. And when I hear that song, and then our guest that's going to come up in a couple of minutes, you know, it really touches me, it brings a tear to my eye. And before I introduced our next guest, I just wanted to quickly read a quote from an article called "Stop the Deportation of Immigrant Military Veterans." Immigrant veterans are being deported from the adopted country that they love, discarded after answering the call of duty in defense of liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. We ask them to join our military and stand for our principles. They did so with great pride. They deserve the highest respect awarded, period. With that said, our guest was a volunteer. He served in the U.S. military from 1995 through November 2001, where he received 2 honorable discharges, just highlighting a few of the awards and medals he received when he served in U.S. military. He had 2 AAMs, Army Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Medal, Army Service Medal, and a Humanitarian Medal, and he served in the 82nd Airborne. With that said, I'd like to introduce Hector. Hector, I'm probably not going to get the enunciation of your last name properly, so I'll just ask you to quickly remind me again so I'm able to remember it.
Okay, my name is Hector Barajas. Good afternoon, everybody.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Hector. And you know, what I really wanted to get to people, hopefully through you, is that, you know, how important this issue is. I mean, you yourself, so many other veterans, and even Vietnam veterans, Iraq veterans that went over to the Iraq War, that went over to the Gulf War, are now being deported and sent back to the countries where they originally came from. Yet they served in the American military. They protected the people, and when the people are, when they're there, when these veterans come back and they need the protection of the people that they offered themselves, you know, the people aren't there to protect them. And it's so horrendous that you could even think of doing this to any veteran, because the veteran, again, protects the people. And with that said, how many veterans at this time are sitting in the detention centers waiting to get deported from the United States of America?
Well, there's over 300 detention centers, from my understanding, in the United States, and you know, just in one detention center in El Centro, we had up to 5 to 7 veterans. And again, nobody's really checking to see how many. It's just word of, you know, by word of mouth that you know, the guys get together and then they somehow reach out to us. So there's, I mean, even if you say one veteran in each, you know, center, you're looking at 350 veterans, but there's more than that. I mean, there's up to sometimes 10 veterans. It depends how many they're picking up, or, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, the number varies.
And there was actually 2 Vietnam veterans. I was reading an article and I think you sent it to me. And what happened is that one veteran was a Marine, other veteran was the 82nd Airborne. I think the 82nd Airborne veteran, he won a Bronze Star medal over in Vietnam, and they were facing deportation. They were in the United States since the 50s, and they were facing deportation. And could you give us a little, I know you gave me a little update, but could you share with the listening audience an update on that story?
Yes, I tried to actually get a hold of the attorney that was working with them, and I believe he was a criminal attorney. It turns out that they had been in trouble with the law, but it was some misdemeanors and stuff like that. And after they came out on the news, or I don't know exactly what happened, the U.S. government terminated proceedings and actually started the paperwork to become U.S. citizens. But they were trying to deport them, you know. And I mean, to me, it's like, you know, why would you even consider putting a United States veteran in proceedings to try to deport them? That to me is wrong in itself.
Well, all of this, I was looking through YouTube on your website there, and what happened was it talked about the 1996 law. Could you talk a little bit about that, what that law is, and how important that law was to events that are now happening?
Well, 1996, Bill Clinton, I believe all they did was they made an amendment to Immigration Act, saying that anybody who commits a felony or over 365 days in jail can be deported. That is not a U.S. citizen, just somebody with a green card or a visa or that gets in trouble with the law. And before that, the judges would have discretion as far as, okay, well, this guy's a United States veteran. We're not, we're going to terminate proceedings. We're not even going to pursue this. And after that, they got rid of that, and they are no longer able to make any calls as far as who they're going to deport or not. So now they're ever since, because you would never hear of any veterans getting deported before that, and now they're actually, since 1996, everything just started. They started deporting veterans.
Well, actually, I was watching a YouTube again. There was another YouTube that was on your website you have there. And just in a couple minutes, I'll have you give the address to your website so that way people can go in there and see the YouTubes for themselves. And there was a lawyer on there by the name of Craig Shagan. And what happened was he was actually talking about that 1996 law. I think he's an immigration lawyer. And what he was saying was it was a draconian law, and they actually are penalizing people who are poor. Like poverty is a crime to them. So, a veteran that gets out of the military, and a lot of veterans that get out of the military are going to suffer some form of, PTSD, or, it's going to take them a little time to adjust to society, because it's different from the military to society living. It's totally different. And yet you're going to penalize someone because they don't have any money. I guess what happened was they forgot about the poem that sits on the Statue of Liberty. And I wanted to quickly remind people the poem that sits on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. And I say to people, that poem says it all. How dare you basically go after the veterans in any way? These people served your nation, they protected you, and now what happens is it is time for you to protect the veterans.
Yeah, and a lot of, you get people that say, oh, well, these guys just came in for the benefits. Who doesn't join the military for some kind of benefit? Besides your GI Bill, or the economy is really bad. You're going to get a steady paycheck, or some people to do it for college, or a lot of people do it just because they want to join the military and serve their country. But there's nothing wrong with serving the military to get certain benefits and stuff like that. Because you have people say, oh, well, you guys are just joining the military to get your benefits and to get your U.S. citizenship. And the recruiters that's the U.S. government knows that. That's what they use. Hey, we'll give you citizenship. Join the ranks.
Well, and you yourself, what happens is you're deported. You're down in Mexico right now. Could you give us quickly a brief summary of what you've been through, and how you're not even able to return to the United States?
Yeah, myself, I've been deported for life, so I can never return to the United States. And the only way I can return, and actually, because I'm a United States veteran, I still have benefits with So I'm entitled to a military plot and a headstone if I were ever to die, and that's the only way I can return. And they're gonna have no problem with me going back dead. But I wouldn't, if it was just myself, I would, it'd be easier to deal with, because to reintegrate back into a society you've never been with, of course, but I mean, we're in the military, they teach you to, to overcome and adapt, and I know I could adapt to whatever, environment I'm put in, but it's not the same, you don't have your friends, your family. My daughter, I have a 4-year-old daughter, I'm not able to raise her, so it's, there's still a lot more, but I mean, it's hard, I will say it is hard, but we'll take what we can get, and then we'll work towards getting some results and changing the laws, or trying to get back even as an individual. But I don't believe in leaving any guy behind if I were to ever go back. There's no way I would do that.
And quickly, what is your website, so that way people listening right now, if you have a computer next to you, you're able to type it in and then quickly go look as we're talking?
They can go to banishedveterans.info, and that's veterans with an S.info, or they can also, if they want to email you, since most of your listeners, they probably have they have your email and stuff like that, and they can also get the information from yourself as well. We're also on Facebook. You can look for Banished Veterans also group, or also add me as a friend through you, or just punched me up, Hector Barajas.